Hello and welcome to another Fergie's Gum. It's a special this week because Manchester United never stops moving. Manchester United never stops making headlines, and the latest headline this week, today, is Dan Ashworth is no longer at the club. He's left by mutual consent, and he's no longer the sporting director. Obviously, I'm joined by Ahmad. Hello, mate.
Hey, Nathan.
We kind of just threw this together. I'm going to kick off with the club statement, official club statement on their website. Dan Ashworth will be leaving his role as sporting director of Manchester United by mutual agreement. We would like to thank Dan for his work and support during the transitional period for the club and wish him well for the future. That is it for a sporting director that they waited, I think, 150 plus days to get out of his contract at Newcastle. And I think he spent less time in the job than he did, than we did waiting for him.
Yeah.
What do you make of this? This just seems like another terrible knee-jerk reaction from Ineos.
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know what to make out of it. I'm not sure it's a knee-jerk reaction, because I'm sure they would have been thinking about this for a while. They wouldn't have just taken the decision now. I'm sure there were many situations that kept on building up that led them eventually to this decision. Unfortunately, at this time, we don't have any information. We don't know what happened, why it happened. Of course, there are many rumors coming out about why it could have happened, but to be honest, none of them make sense to me. None of them make sense, because it doesn't make sense waiting that long for someone and then just throwing it all away. There's, I don't know, 5 months in.
So one of the big things before Ashworth came in was that Jim Ratcliffe was saying that we need best in class for everyone in every position, not just on the pitch, but in the backroom staff as well. And he was talking up Dan Ashworth and really labelled him as the fulcrum to the whole thing. He was going to be the linchpin that was going to be selecting the new signings, keeping the structure, keeping the harmony together, and creating this constant line between CEO Barada and whoever came in as manager, so that there would always be a style of play that was agreed upon. There would always be consistent messaging between the upper management and the squad. And he's seen one of his, Ashworth was apparently the person that stuck by Ten Hag more strongly during the summer, which ended up with them triggering his extension. And I've seen rumours, we're recording this literally an hour, 2 hours after they announced it. There are rumours that might have been a contributing factor to the fact that he's no longer there, because he told him to keep him. They backed him with coaches as well, Ten Hag. It wasn't just extending his contract, he was backing him with coaches. And, it's not worked out. And for me, I know you say it's not a knee-jerk reaction, but as a business, Ineos have made some absolutely terrible decisions that if they have planned them, then they're malicious. If they haven't, and knee-jerky, as I say, then it's careless. It's absolute carelessness. I can't understand why they've done these things, because they're going to have to pay him off again. Another person to pay off.
I mean, I agree. I'm with you on this, but at the same time, I think Manchester United, as a club, as an institution, for the past 10, 11 years, they've suffered because of them not being able to take these difficult decisions. So we've stuck way too long with people that we shouldn't have, because we were like, they will eventually come good, but they didn't, and we paid for that in so many different ways. Players and also managers, and also at board level, for example, all of the CEOs we've had up until Ineos came in. And I think we can all agree that this is a big part of why United have been in this mess. So
I get that side of it. I understand the trajectory that you're taking and the angle that you're taking with this. My issue is that we paid compensation to get Dan Ashworth in, which suggests that they did all of their homework. They knew exactly what they was getting with Dan Ashworth, what he would be doing on a day-to-day basis. The reason why I can't get my head around it, and the reason why I think it's irresponsible and like a knee-jerk reaction from Ratcliffe and Ineos, is because this isn't a sacking. This isn't he's done something that's caused gross misconduct and he's been fired. This is mutual termination. This is them saying, it's not working, is it? So they from their side said, it's not working. He's had no choice but to accept that this is a mutual termination. This is how sackings work. On the ground level of all of this, he's been sacked. Mutual termination, dress it up as you like. He's been sacked. But I think that for them to come out and just be like, he's the best person, this is the right structure, we've never had this before, blah, 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 we're doing all the best in class, and then to fire him shows that there's a lack of foresight from this new setup.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure, like, now, like the saying goes, hindsight is a wonderful thing. So I'm sure they wouldn't have seen this coming when they were appointing him, like in the summer. So I think we all saw why they would want him to come in, because he was probably like the best and the safest choice to come in, because of all the work he's done in England, especially in all the clubs in England and with the national team. So he was actually a good choice. But I think when it comes to that level of the board, I think it's very important how the dynamic of relationships between everyone is. So he came in along with probably 3 or 4 new people as well. Like Omar Barada came in, Jason McClugs came in, also Vivel came in. So, and of course, Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Dave Brailsford. So maybe the dynamic of the relationship between all of them wasn't working, and you can't know for sure when you're appointing the person if is it gonna work or not. You can have an idea, but it can so easily not work. And maybe this is what happened for the past few months.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, we don't know for definite, so I'm speculating as much as everyone else is. I know there was a rumor. Was it Alex Crooks from Talksport that was saying that he wanted to bring Southgate in rather than Amorim? Now, usually I wouldn't give any sort of like credence or like any sort of like levity to that kind of rumor, but then someone after that mentioned that Ashworth wasn't involved in the Amorim appointment at all. When Barada flew out to meet Amorim, it was him and someone else and not Dan Ashworth. That was apparently, like, again, this is all rumor, but he apparently didn't have anything to do with it. So that could have been the beginning of the end for him, when it was like, you've been sidelined for this really important deal that we're putting together, and your cards are marked essentially. But if you're, I don't think you can. If he was literally in charge of the signings this season, I don't think you can fault him on those. Ugarte, Yoro, Xerxes, maybe, I don't know, and who's the other one? Mazraoui and De Ligt. I don't think you can criticize him on that. I don't think you can hold that against him.
Even I wouldn't be surprised if Sir Jim Ratcliffe, for example, was disappointed with the signings, because as we can see, like, there are a lot of issues that we've been having this season because we haven't addressed key positions. I know maybe the budget didn't allow for it, or I don't know, like they have a plan to do it next summer or January or whatever. But we've seen left back, we struggled, and you can just ignore that. You can't just ignore it. We haven't gone for a left back. People can say, but we got Mazraoui who can play on the right and on the left. But Mazraoui came in as a replacement for Wan-Bissaka, who we sold. So, and striker, last season it was so obvious that we had issues scoring goals. So then instead of going and getting someone proven who can actually guarantee you goals, you go and get, again, an unknown quantity. We just scored 10 goals, I think, last season with Bologna. And we can see, I'm sure we're going to talk about the game last night, but I think that was one of the biggest examples, the issues we're having. It's so obvious we're not going to go anywhere with this. Maybe that was part of the reason. It could be anything. To be honest, it could be anything.
I'm concerned about the decisions that they're making. I know there's a school of thought to think that they're making them quickly, so it's we're not just letting it bleed out. For example, we are making the changes when they need to be and getting rid of the people or the parts that don't work. However, this has come at a financial cost. Sacking Ten Hag has come at a financial cost. Sacking the backroom staff has come at a financial cost. Hiring Amarim and a new manager and new coaches has come at a financial cost. And then when Jim Ratcliffe, I think it was yesterday before the game, just came out and said, we've got difficult decisions that we've got to make because we've become a mediocre team, which to me was pure PR spin to say, we've made financial commitments that we cannot possibly support without putting these ticket prices up. And he doesn't want to say that. He doesn't want to say that because he doesn't want to seem that Ineos have made any mistakes or that he's made any mistakes. But it's a big thing from Lausanne and Nice to come to Manchester United and try and do those same things. It's so much bigger. There's so many more eyes on you. The pressure is higher. The benchmarks are higher. And I'm concerned about the way that they're running the club, simply because this should have been a period of calm. And on the last podcast, literally yesterday, we were talking about how this new structure should be able to let new young players flourish. And Dan Ashworth was part of that structure,
Yeah.
And now he's gone. So even when you just think about it, what's Amarim thinking right now? What's he thinking right now?
But to be honest, I think, Amarim, I'm sure he's as confused as everyone else. But Ineos, they put in Dan Ashworth, and he was the one responsible for the decisions. For example, keeping Ten Hag in the summer, bringing on the new coaches, and even sticking with him during the difficult parts of the season. So Dan Ashworth was the main reason why all that happened. So I think it would make sense for Ineos to look at that and say, we give you all that power to take these decisions, and you've cost us money because like you're saying, we had to pay money to get the coaches in, we had to pay money to get the coaches out. So someone has to be held accountable for that. And I think Ineos just they took action, and I don't know what they're thinking, but I'm sure they have. To be honest, personally, I trust more than Ineos. I trust Omar Berrada. I think he's level-headed. I think he knows what he's doing. Maybe it doesn't seem like it right now, but I think his decision making is good. So,
interestingly, the Athletic and David Ornstein, who broke the news story, they were saying that it was Jim Ratcliffe who was very vocal in this, in getting Ashworth out. So, I mean, for him, the team hasn't got any better. We're still mid-table. We'll come on to the defeat by Nottingham Forest at home in a second. But all of these things, he's looking at them and going, right, okay, what can I change? What hasn't worked? And if you're saying that Ashworth, let's rewind a little bit. If you're saying that Ashworth was responsible for Ten Hag staying, and you're saying that he was responsible for keeping the coaches as well, or hiring René Hack and Ruud van Nistelrooy. If you're saying he was allowed to do these things, where was Omar Barada at those points then? What was the, like, what kind of gatekeeping was set up, or what kind of like protection measures were set up to make sure that they succeeded?
Yeah, but I think Omar Barada, like, each of them had a different role, and I think Dan Ashworth was the one responsible. He was the technical director. He was mainly more responsible of what happens with the first team and also like the women's team, which is in his role. But like mainly he was the one responsible for what happens in the main team, and that also includes the coach, the manager, and his staff. So I think Omar Barada was more concerned with the financial side of things, with what has to do with United. So yeah, I don't know. It's just a mess. I think I don't know. Like I don't see it coming. To be honest, I don't see it coming.
No, I don't think anyone did, especially not Dan Ashworth. But the one thing that I will say is I'm not going to shed any tears over Dan Ashworth leaving, because whether he was the right man or the wrong man for the job, he's just been paid handsomely to fail after 5 months. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, he should have stayed, because I don't know what he did on a day-to-day basis. But that's what my main concern is with Barada, with Ratcliffe, like with Wilcox. Well, maybe not so much Wilcox, but those guys knew what he was coming in to do. They let him do it for 5 months and cost the club millions in his own fees and the club. So I don't know. It's I wouldn't be, if I was one of those players now in that squad, I would feel unsettled again, and I would feel like this is a continuation of the chaos that we have been going through for the past however long they've been at the club. So obviously, not only the biggest news of the weekend has been a businessman getting fired, we've also had Manchester United losing 3-2 to Nottingham Forest at home, which I imagine was probably the straw that brought the camel's back in terms of firing Dan Ashworth. When I watched the first half before I lost like all my feeds and my TV went down and I went to bed. But that game was very strange. It felt like we was in control for long spells of it, and we still came out with a 3-2 defeat. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I think the first half we were in control. We were playing really well. I think, yeah, we kept the ball, created chances. Not a lot of chances, but we created chances. Didn't concede chances except for the set piece. But yeah, like second half, I don't know what happened. Like this is what's normal for these players now. Like concede a goal, lose your heads, lose everything, lose your way of play. They don't know what to do next. So yeah, I think that was the main issue.
Where do you think that stems from then? Because obviously Ten Hag is no longer there anymore and Amorim is. And I know that they've not had time to completely, form that team chemistry that they need to do to perform adequately. But where do you think that the hopelessness of the situation comes from? Is it the captain? Is it just the squad collectively? They're just like, we can't do this? Because we brought a lot of players in. Like De Ligt was there, Yoron was there, Ugarte was in the middle as well. Where does it come from? What do you think is causing this drop off in performance?
It's just the lack of quality. Like especially going forward, lack of quality is unbelievable. I don't know, like and I don't know, like it's just physically they're not good enough. Like I think this is the main point. Physically, like as athletes, they're not good enough. They're not good enough for United. They're not good enough for the Premier League.
When you say that, who are you saying when you're talking about that? What players are we picking out there?
you can go around the team, especially the one that started last night. You can, even the bench, you can go around the team. You can look at, I don't know, you can look at Bruno for starters. He can run. He has an engine on him, but he's not strong enough. I think we've all seen that, especially if you want to play him deeper. He's not cut out for that. Going forward, like the front line was, I don't know. Like I'm honestly lost for words with these players. Garnacho, not good enough. Hoyland, not good enough. Bruno was the one playing and done, not good enough, unfortunately. Midfield, Kobe, he still needs to. I love Kobe, but he needs to work a lot on himself, physically, especially. He's strong. He's not quick enough. He's not mobile enough. Ugarte, yeah, he's. I think he's one of the few players that can actually run and like they're aggressive enough. Defensively, Lisandro, I love Lisandro. I don't know. Yeah, I honestly don't think you can depend on him if you wanna go for the league, for example. You can't because physically he's not good enough. De Ligt, not good enough, unfortunately, as well. I love he's not good enough. He's good, but not he's not quick enough. He's not strong enough. He's not tall enough. Doesn't dominate in the air. Sometimes he does, but not like he's very prone to mistakes. Who else played? Lenny Euro, it's too early, but he looked good. And I'll give him that. And then like the main one, Diogo Dalot. I just this guy, this player, I don't know. I don't know how he plays for United. To be honest, I don't know how he plays for United.
But like I said the other day, he gets into those positions where he should be finishing those things. Like he is deceptive down that flank, and he always finds himself in really, really good positions, but he cannot find any end product at all. And that's the most frustrating thing. But I think, I mean, it's terrifying to think that we need a full squad of players again. But can you teach? I mean, these are young men. You know, can you make them stronger? I think you can. I think physically you can make them stronger. I don't think you can make them do new things as footballers. I think they know what they know. I don't think De Ligt's going to change his game. I think he could become stronger. I think he could hit the gym and become stronger. I think he could become more explosive. Yeah, I think any of the players could raise their physical level, but you have to raise the physical level and the mental level, and I feel like the mental level is the biggest issue with all of them.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like if that works, like work giving them time to develop these things, but that works if it was like one or two or like three players in the team. You can put them in and out of the team in a team that's actually functional, in a team that's actually winning, in a team that's actually like they're not under pressure the same way that we are most of the time. So I don't think I don't know. So that's why you have to go for ready players that are just ready for it. So you can just put them in and like then you can start taking risks on player, getting this player and saying, okay, he's not there yet, but I'll work on it. And like in a season or two, he's gonna be ready. But you can't do that with like 10. I went through the whole team. I don't think anyone would disagree with me that most of the players that I said, they're not good enough. They're not good enough. Even the players that came on, Rashford, I don't know what's going on with him. Xerxes, he needs to work so much on himself. Otherwise he's gonna get sold. And I don't know, like Ericsson, I don't know if he can walk. Casemiro, no. I don't know, like it's ridiculous. Ahmad, he's not big, but he's actually quick and he's strong. Like these are the kind of players you can actually depend on. Other than that, I don't know.
I don't think the sad part about it is I don't think we can afford to do the major overhaul that we need to do. Like we've chipped away at it for many a season, but we've kept spare parts like your Maguires who well past their best, your Ericssons that again well past their best, Casemiro buying him at a time when Real Madrid were replacing them with the players that we should have bought in the first place. I don't think, especially with the PSR and the restrictions, I don't think we're ever going to be able to do that complete overhaul. So you have to hope that Amorim and whoever is like responsible for recruitment now can bring in ready-made players, as you say, alongside this squad. But even with ready-made players, they're still prone to lapses. The Lip, for example, prone to lapses. Onana, holy moly, like, you have got to save that shot. That's straight at you.
Yeah.
That is, as a goalkeeper, that's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.
Yeah.
And when you see stuff like that happening, even when you play football at any level, if something weird like that happens and you're on a team that's already getting drugged or already getting overpowered, that just kills it completely. Can't even rely on the goalkeeper now because he can't save shots that are coming straight at him. But I just thought, we talked about the dangers of the teamwork of Nottingham Forest, and that's what won the game for them. They just kept working really hard for each other, and it's just not something that Manchester United have yet, right?
Honestly, like if you watch the game, especially the second half, if you look at their players and you look at ours, there's a big difference. Even physically, it's obvious. Like there's a difference. If you look at their midfield, Yates, he's huge. Morgan Gibbs-White, he's huge. Who else? Anderson was really good. And their defense, all of them are like giants compared to our team. But even, like, regardless of the physical side of it, technically, most of them would get into our team. Like, technically, like with the ball, most of them would get into our team, and that's saying something. Like, how is it possible that a team like Forest has players that are actually better than the ones that are playing for us? Like, if you look at their defense, I talked about Mario the last podcast. He was amazing. Even their defense, like Ali Aina, amazing. Midfield, Yates was really good. Anderson was really good. Morgan Gibbs-White, this player, he's one of my favorite players to watch in the league, to be honest. He just glides throughout the pitch, even though he's like, I don't know, he's 6 foot something. He's strong. He picks out a pass. He's really good. I really like him. And Chris Wood, he bullied our defenders, for example, unfortunately. I don't know where you go with this team, to be honest. I don't know where you go with this. Like, I'm thinking of it.
I know exactly. I'm waiting for you to come with something that's positive. But the more that you keep talking, the more I'm realizing it's not coming, and the more I'm realizing that it can, because that's just the harsh truth of it all. The harsh truth is,
I would say
they're not good enough.
They're not good enough. But I would say, like, if you wanna have players that are not physically up to it, at least they have to be technically up for it. Like, they have to be technically very, very good, so that they can create something throughout the game. But like, we have neither of these things. Like, if you look at Garnacho, for example, I like Garnacho. Like, I really like him, but you can't expect anything of him. Especially if he's starting. He can't hold up the play. He's quick, but if the team plays a low block, then he's out of the game. I don't know. Hoyland, I don't know. Like, Hoyland is like, you can never depend on a player like Hoyland. Never.
The little bits that I was saying last week, the other day, about the dark arts that Hoyland needs to learn to make it in the Premier League. When he won that free kick on the edge of the box and Bruno hit the crossbar with it, those are the things. Just go, like, he was barely touched and he went down.
Yeah, that was
sections, but yeah, exactly. But those are the things that he needs to work on, because that then gets in the heads of the defenders marking him, and they think twice before just shoving him off the ball down. But yeah, just to like go back on the whole point. Like, Forest deserved the win. I did watch the extended highlights. Like, Forest deserved the win. I think we did well to try and get back into it, but there's just something amiss with this team, and Amorim really has got his work cut out to change his fortunes of this side. And as you say, a majority of the squad aren't good enough. It'll be interesting to see what he's able to do with it.
Yeah, but like, you say that, but like, we scored the second goal minute, I don't know, 68 or 69. So we had like more than 20 minutes to find an equalizer. And in that 20 minutes, I don't think we created a single chance. Like, imagine, like, where's the urgency? Like,
because they're not good enough.
They're not good enough.
You covered it. You covered it really well. You said that's the reason they're not good enough to do it.
They're not good enough. Yeah.
And collectively, like, I don't think they help each other. There's no team chemistry. If this was a ultimate team in FIFA, you know, they'd all have like red lines next to them because
they stopped doing good lines. Like,
is it red lines? I don't know. That's how long I've been playing it.
Yeah, no, it's over. But like, if your captain misplaces a pass like that in a critical part of the pitch like that in the beginning of the second half, like if your captain does that, then I don't know what you can expect from the team. I don't know.
There we go. Well, on that bombshell, it seems like a good place to end this podcast because
I can go on for another hour.
I know, exactly. We're using this to vent, but now I feel like I'm getting depressed because of it. So I'm going to leave it here and enjoy the rest of my Sunday. But yeah, farewell to Dan Ashworth, and let's see where he pops up next. And more importantly, let's see who takes up that position next, because I'm sure it's going to be like Oz and Charles now. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll speak to you again next week.